Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Bitcoin finally breached that $6,300 mark, up 3.65% today. Everything else is still behaving the exact same way. Bitcoin is really moving the market, and this is the only coin that matters at the moment. It is going to be the one that pushes the market forward. The entire market cap up here at just over 192 billion. And as you can see here, guys, this is Bitcoin on a daily, and we're seeing Bitcoin move up here. And what I think is going to happen, like I've said in several of my videos, is that here's the 62, that's roughly 6,300. And so it is hit the 6,300 mark. And what I think is going to happen is that we might see a little of this for a while before we see that. That's just my thought. That's just based on the charts. I don't know what's going to happen for real. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's just my opinion on the matter. But if we see Bitcoin and it's kind of taking its time and moves sideways for a bit, I won't be surprised. In the news here, some great information and ultimately just great pieces here. If you put them together and kind of understand what the whole picture paints, this one's from the Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Peirce. The other day, if you're watching Alex Cobb's stream, he had the Governor of the Bank of England on a live stream talking about digital currencies and cryptocurrency adoption, Mark Carney. And there were some people on the stream that thought he was American, which he is not. He has Canadian, English, and Irish citizenship, and he was indeed our Governor of the Bank of Canada before Stephen Peirce. So I just wanted to play you this because this is very important when you look at the whole picture and cryptocurrency adoption as a whole. Let me just cue that up.
We recognize that these innovations have absolutely phenomenal potential to improve efficiency of our payment system, and as I mentioned with DLT, a much wider application. So the last thing you want to do is play whack-a-mole and regulate these things as soon as they're out of the gate. So most countries have gone with what they call sort of a sandbox approach, which says, as long as you stay within these boundaries, go ahead and experiment. Let's have some new things that happen. And if they really catch on, then we'll know it's going to be part of the system, and then it would pose risk to the system, and only then is it necessary for us to have a better regulatory framework around it. In Canada, we've adopted a let's try it before we even consider it approach. So experimentation. So we've, over the past year and a half, run several actual experiments with blockchain, with private sector counterparties, and mimicked our settlement system. And there's still progress happening there. So again, next phase, we'll test it again.
Okay, so a lot of things going on there. The Governor of the Bank of Canada obviously mentioning that not only is Canada working on this, not only is Canada friendly to distributed ledger technology, but a bunch of other countries are as well. And sorry, I don't think I gave credit to this tweet. It's from at Stuart_XRP, so thanks, Stuart, for sending that along. So what Stephen Peirce is saying, though, is that countries are interested. It's just a matter of getting them used to it, and then it will happen. You can't throw regulations at cryptocurrency right out of the gate without thinking about it and without really kind of giving these countries a chance to understand how it could be beneficial for them to transfer funds. And when these kinds of guys are talking about banks, cross-border payments, who is the biggest company doing this? It's Ripple. He doesn't say it outright in here, although all signs point to Ripple. I know when I did a video a few days ago, I showed you guys this tweet. This is from XRP Veteran, Cory Johnson with the Prime Minister of Canada. And again, that's Justin Trudeau. Cory Johnson, who used to be at Ripple, and he says, I'll say it again, this matters. XRP the Standard making connections with big political figures in order to get this done. So we heard about the Bank of England yesterday. The Bank of Canada, we know, is working on this as well. So all signs pointing in the right direction for Ripple and XRP. This in the news, Fidelity will stick to top cryptos like Bitcoin or XRP, says Morgan Creek's Anthony Pompliano. Nobody mentioned XRP by name, but he was being interviewed by, I think it was Rand Nooner here, about Fidelity and the recent news of cryptocurrency trading and how that's going to take place. And when Anthony Pompliano was asked about it, he says it is at least good that they have given a timeline for the launch. Fidelity is similar to BINANCE in a way that they both are well accepted in the community where the upper management is all pro Bitcoin. When it comes to trading pension endowments and other important financial features, Fidelity is not going to think about the bottom 99. They are going to stick to the top ones like Bitcoin and XRP. So he calls out XRP specifically, and that's going to get it in people's heads. Anthony Pompliano knows, he doesn't really talk about XRP on Twitter or anything like that. He's a pro-Bitcoin guy, but he knows what's happening. He knows what's coming. He knows XRP is going to be important. He knows traders are going to be trading it. Right now, we're not seeing the price move that much, but that's not to say that it will be one of the most important cryptocurrency, or rather digital assets, moving forward. And a few other pieces of news here. This is the SEC Commissioner Hester Pearce concerned crypto industry hindered by regulatory delays. And we've all thought this, right, guys? When is this thing going to happen? When are they going to get the show on the road, finally, right? The United States has been dragging their heels on this. Why can't they get their ducks in a row so we can start seeing some real price movement? And so I'll just kind of give you the highlights here. So Hester Pearce is a United States regulator, and she gave her remarks regarding this. In her speech, Pearce stated that given the rapid development of the digital currency industry, she is worried that the SEC's hesitance to provide clear guidance would hold back its growth. And so this is only really for the United States, technically, but in order for the world of finance and economics to work properly, we have to include the United States. They are a huge player in this, and so everything needs to work together in order for price to move. Peirce says that the SEC as a regulator has to provide industry players with clear guidance on how to comply with the law, which the agency has not yet done. She further noted that the agency's Jackson Pollock approach, this is interesting, to splashing lots of factors on the canvas without any clear message leaves something to be desired. So if you guys are not familiar with fine art and Jackson Pollock, he is the one who famously came up with those splatter paintings, and this is how she's likening the laws. There's just kind of some laws here, some laws splashed over there, and there's no real focus. We should not be trying to guide innovation, but we also should recognize that we cannot stop it and embrace the potential for positive change that innovation offers. Our silence is likely to simply push this innovation and any attendant economic growth into other jurisdictions that have done their work and provided clear guidelines for the market participants to follow. So Hester Pearce calling out the SEC, explaining that we've really got to get this sorted, guys, before we start moving forward, before we continue to move forward, rather. This one's from XRP Crypto Wolf. That's at XRP Crypto Wolf. Ultimately, he sums it up here. Liechtenstein's government passed new tokenization, virtual asset service provider, and blockchain regulations. And here's the article here, guys. I always link the articles in the description if you want to read them further. Another one from at XRP Crypto Wolf. U.S. House of Representatives is launching a task force to examine financial technology. So, guys, as you can see, this is happening. We are in the middle of it right now. We don't hear about it in mainstream news, so it's great that we have these kinds of websites like Cointelegraph, crypto-centric websites that are able to give us the news that we want to hear, because these things are happening. And you know, when you talk to somebody in your everyday life, you talk to them about cryptocurrencies, usually what happens is that their mind just kind of goes blank and they remember back to when Bitcoin was all the rage at the end of 2017, and they mention some kind of, oh, you mean like when Bitcoin was trading and it was in the news and it was the big thing? I'm like, yeah, it was the big thing. 2018 was a down year, and how easily people forget. And it's kind of sad that people don't realize how influential this is going to really be in the future years. But it's all happening. We can see it here. At least we can say that we got in early enough to be able to profit from this. XRP Veteran, again, that's at XRP_Veteran. There has been a tremendous number of very positive developments that the price has yet to reflect, indicating that XRP is a sleeping giant. And when it wakes, it's set to explode in adoption and price. So this article here, really interesting. They talk about a lot of this. And so XRP is ready to explode. While 2019 has not been kind to XRP's price action, the number of developments and partnerships achieved by the project makes Ripple's XRP extremely hard to ignore, with institutions such as the World Bank, IMF, the EU Commission on board and actively working with Ripple. XRP is seemingly unstoppable. By actively working with these institutions, Ripple is laying the groundwork for the entire cryptocurrency industry to flourish in the years to come. this is something that a lot of these other cryptos do not realize, and maybe we should be paying more attention to. Ripple and XRP are not only going to be beneficial for the world as a whole, but they will be beneficial for the other cryptocurrency projects, because once that adoption occurs and once we're in a world where we're starting to use crypto for everything, banking, cross-border transactions, a lot of it will be thanks to Ripple and XRP. And so I think that eventually this will start bringing up other projects and other coins and cryptocurrency experiments, giving them more legitimacy. And I think Ripple will be the one to thank. Obviously, Bitcoin, the granddaddy of it all, is the pioneer. But realistically, Ripple and XRP are going to be the ones that will be making inroads with the mainstream, will be changing the face of society. The price of XRP will rise because of supply and demand. We've heard it from David Schwartz. Anthony Pompliano is also mentioning it here. Anthony Pompliano is not a stupid man. He is also, although he is a Bitcoin guy, he is also intelligent enough to realize that traders will be trading coins like XRP, so he does go on the record and say it down here. Right now, guys, the world is in a place where all they know is Bitcoin. Once they can get their heads around that, and once that does not scare them anymore, massive cryptocurrency adoption will follow. The focus will be on Ripple and XRP changing the world, and the rest will be history. Anyways, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.